Very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rohit Thakur, and I welcome you all for this very interesting webinar that is on developing a mindset for an entrepreneur, right? And we welcome you, everyone, from on behalf of FirstUniv, right? Talking about entrepreneurship, right? I'm sure everyone in the attendees list knows the definition. What is an entrepreneur, right? Someone who starts a business, someone who creates a business, and we have so many examples around us nowadays. Like you can see Paytm, Bharat Pay, and new shows coming up to work on and build on many entrepreneurs itself, right? Talking about, but one thing that is very interesting, and one thing that is that our purpose in this webinar is going to be, and our today's today's professor are going to talk about how to develop that mindset of an entrepreneur, right? And how to develop a mindset, right? And that's very important itself. And to talk about that, we have with us Dr. Professor Kamal Kant Vashisth, sir, with us, right? And when I talk about Dr. Kamal Kant Vashisth, right, he has 10 years of experience in teaching, and he's worked with many industries as a sales professional as well. Dr. Kamal is also a master's in the field of direct selling. He has appeared on many talk shows. Many of the people from direct selling world must know that itself. They must have seen him in many talk shows on YouTube and even on TV channels itself. He's one of the he has published many papers, and also is one of the persons to introduce direct selling as a course in collaboration with IDSA and Shoolini University. All right. So it is to talk about entrepreneurship. I believe he's one of the best to talk about it itself. And today's session is all going to be about how one can develop that mindset of becoming an entrepreneur in the future, right? And it is my esteemed pleasure to welcome to honor Dr. Kamal Kant Vashisth to take the stage and talk about us and teach us about how entrepreneurship can be inculcated in each one of us. Very good afternoon, Dr. Kamal Kant Vashisth, sir.
Thank you, Rohit, and thanks for those very generous words. And
my pleasure.
I hope the sound is clear. I hope the voice is okay.
Yeah, very good. Good to go, Kamal, Dr. Kamal sir.
Right, Rohit. Thanks a lot, and a very warm welcome to all the attendees. Right. So the topic that we are going to talk about today, as Rohit also explained, is developing an entrepreneurial mindset. And so we'll keep it a little interactive. I know there's limited means to interact, but we can always use the chat. So may I understand why we're talking about developing an entrepreneurial mindset? And before we proceed further, just a quick chat, right? So if we can use the chat, just let me know why development of an entrepreneurial mindset is important to us. And then probably, so many attendees have raised their hands. I would request Ishita, Babita, Geeta, if they are your real names, so you can type in on the chat, right? Okay, or probably we can go. So all of you raised the hand. All of you want to say something. So Rohit, is chat enabled?
Yes, doctor, it has been enabled, Dr. Vashisth, but I don't see anyone typing on the chat itself.
So people are raising the hand, so probably
okay.
Doesn't matter. So we'll move forward, right? So I'll just share my screen with you. In the meantime, if any one of you can probably share anything on chat, it would be great.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just share the screen, right?
Yes, it would be great if people have any doubts. Rather than raising hands, you guys can please go ahead and write your questions in Q&A. And if there is certain things that is that you want a clarity, please write it down on chats. So, okay.
So I can see to be more creative. Okay, so that's great. So at least we've got one response. Okay, so we move on to the topic of entrepreneurship. It's very, very dear to my heart, and I'll explain in a bit why this is so dear to my heart. And probably we'll take another half an hour or so, and after that we can take a couple of questions if there are any. Right. So entrepreneurship, and moving on, I'll do a little bit about myself. So probably I've taken a couple of sessions earlier as well. So some of you might be knowing me, some of you might not know me. So I thought it wise to just share a little bit about me. So I'm Kamal Kant Vashisth, and I work as an associate professor and director of eLearning at Shoolini University. I have around 22 years of work experience, and 10 years of which are in academics. So I've been associated with Shoolini since 2012. So it has been 10 years in Shoolini. Before Shoolini, I completed my MBA in 2001, and 2012 I joined Shoolini. So 11 years. I changed my career 8 times, right? And I'll tell you a brief history about how I changed my career. I went to Delhi. It was a lean phase, recession tha khoob, and I started with a job with a pretty well-known company now. We call it Daksh IBM now. At that point of time, it was known as Daksh E-Services Private Limited. So I started my career with Daksh. It's a BPO, and at that point of time, people used to consider it a below par job for an MBA because MBAs were hard to find back, right? So in Himachal, there was just one university, that is HP University, which had MBA program. Rest you would not find it anywhere else, right? So MBA को माना नहीं जाता था कि यार BPO is a like below par job for an MBA, but because I was so desperate to support my family at that point of time, I wanted to get on with the things, that I took that job, and it was a great job, right? So I started at a salary of around 6,000 rupees, which in those times 2001 was pretty good for a youngster, for a bachelor staying in Delhi, right? And I remember that I even used to save some money and send it across to home, right? Out of those 6,000 rupees. Within like 2 years, I got triple promotion, and the last salary I had drawn from Daksh was 17,000, which was huge at that point. 17,000 was great, right? But all of a sudden, there was some, I understood it was a monotonous job. When I was doing well, everyone was happy. So I'm not self-boosting here, but just to lay down the context. So I was one of the star performers of my team, right? And I did exceptionally well. That's why I got 3 promotions. But then when you get promoted, so there are people who are not so happy with you, right? And I used to get a lot of accolades, and someone complained about me. I was the star performer. I used to complete 50% of the target of the team. But from the team itself, there was someone who complained about me, and there was something which I could do nothing about. And it was a complaint which was sent to the team leader. And the team leader, she, in front of the entire team, she scolded me thoroughly, right? And I was like, I am performing every day. And this small thing, and it is not even a mistake of mine. It was not a mistake of mine. But in customer service, if any customer writes something bad about you, like you penalize for that. Okay. So she scolded me like anything. And I felt that one day I'm a star, and every day I'm a star. And just one mistake, and like I am a demon. So I felt very bad about it. And I thought, okay, this is not how I want to lead my life, right? I cannot give the remote of my life into someone else's hand. And immediately that day itself, I called one of my friends back home, and I said, we shall start some business. He said, I'm already doing a business, right? So I resigned the same day. I had 2 roommates in Delhi. और वो दोनों रोज बोलते रहते थे. They used to crib a lot. हर रोज they used to say that I would leave the job, I would leave the job, I would leave the job. And I would say, why do you leave the job? Yeah, like this pick and drop is there, AC office is there, cabs are AC, and we were doing pretty good, right? Free meals are there are recreational facilities are there. So Daksh was pretty employee friendly at that point of time as well. तो मैं बोलता क्यों छोड़नी है यार, अच्छी लाइफ है ना, अच्छा पैसा मिल रहा है, ग्रोथ अपॉर्चुनिटीज वर ट्रिमेंडस. And they would keep on cribbing. मैं बोलता था नहीं यार, मैं तो नहीं छोड़ूंगा. And immediately at that one point there was a paradigm shift. I resigned from the job. I called up my parents. I did not call them up in the evening. I just was taking some time to make a decision. And by the night I had made a decision that I would quit the job and I would return back and I would start a business of my own. मैं सुबह तक वेट करता रहा. There were no mobiles back then, and there used to be STDs, which I do not know how many of you know those. So they were like phone booths, right, in the market. मैं वेट करता रहा कि कब the STD would open. So it would open at like 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. So I could not sleep the entire night, and I was just waiting for 6 a.m. to happen. And as soon as I heard the voice of shutter of the STD, I went down and I called up my parents. My father picked up the phone and I said, Papa, I'm coming back. I don't want to work. I want to start a business of my own. And I was just waiting for a response from his side. No one in my family had ever been an entrepreneur. I belong to a typical job class mentality family. My grandfather was in army. My father is a retired gazetted officer. My uncle, everyone in my family are into jobs. No one ever thought about having a business. And I said, but my father is quite broad-minded, or he's not a he's not a conservative kind of a guy. And I told him that, Papa, I want to leave and I come back and I want to start a business of my own. And I narrated the story. This is what happened, and I did not like the way I was treated, right? So my father, without wasting any time, and he said, okay, come on यार, जो भी करना है कर लो, कोई बात नहीं, अगर तुम्हें अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, come back, right? And it was a decision, split second decision. I came back. I started with the business, and within 6 years we were doing very, very well. We were just like 25, 26-year-olds, and we were doing extremely well. Like we, in a place like Solan, which is a very small town. So we had a turnover of around 12 crore rupees. We were earning a 6-figure income, both of us. It was a partner, but then the partnership, there was a rift in the partnership. And we always say that there's a learning in that as well. We were childhood friends and very, very good friends. And it is said that till the time there were crises in the business, till the time we were managing things, till the time the things were barely moving, right? So I was running here, he was running there, and everything was all right. So we always say that till at the time when the ship is sinking, right, or in the times of crisis, everyone is together. So we were all together. It's only when money started flowing in, when our when the hard work started to pay off, and we started to earn some good money, the problems started to arise, right? So then it was like, तू ये नहीं करता, मैं ये करता हूँ, तू ज्यादा काम करता है, मैं ज्यादा काम करता हूँ, ये नहीं होता, बैंक का जो मेन काम वो मैं करता हूँ, तू कम कम, मतलब things like that started to happen, and we realized that we cannot get along for long. तो मैंने उनको बोला, मैंने कहा भाई ऐसा है, all assets and liabilities to you. I walk off. I'll not take anything of the business. I'll start afresh. And from that, I started again in 2006. I started again with the job, and I started my job in Reliance Life Insurance, right? Before that, just a snapshot, as I have on the screen, it's visible, changed 8 careers in 11 years, and everyone started to, so they started disbelieving in me, right? So people say that if you hop around career so often, so either you are like good for nothing, or you've not found what you are good at, right? 2 industries. I never thought I would be an entrepreneur. I became an entrepreneur. There were two things which I hated the most. As Rohit also mentioned, I have a specialization in direct selling, Amway, Tupperware, Vestige, Modicare, you might have heard the name, and insurance. These were two industries which I hated the most. I said that I'll do anything, but I'll not get into these industries because I thought that these are the industries wherein you have to chase people, right? और मुझे बहुत बुरी लगती थी. मुझे लगता था यार लोगों के पीछे भागना पड़ता है. I said I'll never do this stuff, right? So I thought it's below my dignity to do this. And I earned my money, most of my money from these two industries, most of my name, fame, everything from these two industries. Of course, education also plays a part, but that came at a later stage of my life. And whatever I teach is also what I've learned from these two industries primarily. Okay. So I started my job. I started a job again in Reliance General Insurance, 7,000 rupees my income was. And from a 6-figure income, you drop down to 7,000 rupee income. It was a tremendous fall. I had got married. I had a small daughter, and things were not good, right? But again, over a period of time, within like a span of 5 years, from Reliance General, I moved to Reliance Life Insurance. From Reliance Life Insurance, I moved to Tata AIG Life Insurance. And within a span of like 5 years, I was serving as branch manager of Tata AIG. And again, I had earned enough. I earned huge money, huge commission. Again, I was on 6-figure income. And from there on, again, there was like this entrepreneurial bug that hit me. And generally people ask me, because I am a professor of entrepreneurship, right? मैं class में कभी entrepreneurship पढ़ाता हूँ. So students generally ask me. So they say, sir, you have so much poison against the jobs, right? So I don't have any poison against the jobs, but I really don't like people getting into jobs, right? So they say कि यार job के पीछे आप job से आप इतना मतलब hate करते हो, you are so indifferent towards being into a job, but you are doing a job yourself, right? So मैं उनको बताता हूँ कि ये it's not a job, right? So I have complete freedom to do whatever I want to do in Shoolini. And there's a different concept we call entrepreneurship. Perhaps we'll have a session on that sometime soon. But what I'm trying to tell is like, so I, again, from that job, I was doing very well, 6 figures, multiple, like into great income. There were a couple of income streams. And from there, again, I had collected some money. I had some money with me, and I said that I'll start a business. I took a franchisee, lost huge money in that franchisee, and then again started with one of the jobs in FMCG. I was area sales manager for Fruity, right? Again, collected some money, again started with the business. So this is like a hobby for me, okay? So I get into a job, I collect some money, and I start a business. The business fails or falters, whatever. I have not failed in a business. None of the business failed, but there were some different stories. So I had to walk off the partnership or things like that, right? So अच्छा चलता है, business start होता है, business में मैं invest करता हूँ, और somehow I have to like say call it quits. Then again I get into a job, again I collect some money, और फिर मैं एक business start करता हूँ, फिर वहां से करना पड़ता है, छोड़ना पड़ता है, और ऐसा करते करते it has been thrice that I failed in businesses, right? And I was quite demoralized, and I thought that probably entrepreneurship is not for me. But then I read it in a book. It said that every successful entrepreneur fails at least thrice before he succeeds. So I failed thrice, right? So it's my chance to succeed now. That's a ray of hope for me. Okay. And why I have been associated with Shoolini for so long, it's been 10 years. It's the longest, by far the longest I have survived with any organization, not more than 2 to 3 years I ever survived with anything. And so how could I survive myself at Shoolini? Because I hate working under someone else. I hate getting orders. I love my freedom, right? I cannot give the remote control of my life to someone else. So how could I do that? It is because Shoolini gave me the autonomy. So we have started multiple ventures at Shoolini. I have started multiple ventures at Shoolini, and I've been a founding partner for quite a few things, and I work like an owner at Shoolini. I take complete ownership of whatever I do, and I'm never challenged. I'm given a free hand, right? So that's why I keep my spirits also alive, and also with the job, I'm doing a side business, so that also is allowed. I'm doing some consultancies, so that keeps my entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial thirst quenched, right? So this is a little bit about me, and quite a bit about me. Okay, so we'll get into entrepreneurship, and I'll just take you through probably for next 15 minutes. I'll take you through why, uh, in spite of belonging to a typical middle class, job oriented, job mentality family, why did I even think about entrepreneurship, and why I'm so passionate about entrepreneurship. So they say that there are 7 ways to get rich, and we don't have time, but I'm sure that all of you want to be rich. If there is anyone who says that it doesn't want to be rich, probably you want to get back to the basics, right? So money is not good, and money is not bad either, right? So it's like it brings out your personality. I don't know whether I got to you on that or not, but money is always good. I've led my life, as I told you, I've led my life with money, I've led my life without money. And I can definitely tell you that with money, it is always better. If you have more money, you can utilize it in good ways. Of course, if you have money without the value system, it will bring in evil, right? But it will bring out what are you from within. So money is good. Money is good. A person might be good or bad, but money is good. Being rich is good. Being successful is good, right? And if you do not believe, कई आपने सुना होगा, there are so many people who will keep on saying कि पैसा तो जी खराब होता है ना? पैसे से तो दिमाग खराब हो जाता है. I'm sure that, can I see a show of hands? How many of you have heard about this notion कि पैसे से दिमाग खराब हो जाता है ना? तो कुछ लोगों ने सुना होगा. So there are a couple of people who have raised hands. So who are the people who are saying this? Or you might have even heard another thing. People say that ये मारुति और मर्सिडीज में क्या फर्क है जी, दोनों एक बराबर है, दोनों में 4 टायर है, इससे भी वहां पहुंच जाते हैं, इससे भी वहां पहुंच जाते हैं. Always people keep on saying things like that. Now my question to you is, and you just self-analyze, who are the people who are saying this? As Arshad Warsi says, कि कौन है ये लोग, कहां से आते हैं, कौन है ये लोग जो बोलते हैं मर्सिडीज और मारुति बराबर? So have you ever seen a Mercedes guy saying this thing? Have you ever seen? No, because you know the difference. Who is the people? So these are people like us who belong to a conservative middle class families, because we cannot afford a Mercedes, of course, and that's why we are just giving a consolation to ourselves कि एक जैसी है जी, एक जैसी है ना? And who are the people who are saying, मतलब किसी ने देखा है क्या यार, पैसे ज्यादा पैसे से दिमाग खराब होते हुए देखे हैं क्या किसी को? There are just exceptions. Most of the successful human beings are great human beings. Just a few examples, few exceptions are there जिनका कि पैसे से दिमाग खराब हो, because they do not have a value system. दिमाग किनके खराब है? If you look back and if you reflect back, किन लोगों के दिमाग खराब? जिनके पास पैसा ही नहीं है. People who are deficient on financials. They are the people who are struggling. They are the people wherein domestic violence is going on. कहाँ हो रही है domestic violence? अब ये मत बोलना कि जॉनी डेप और एम्बर में हो रही है ना? तो those are exceptions, right? But where is the domestic violence? You go to slum areas. In every household there is domestic violence. दिमाग खराब है. क्यों खराब है? क्योंकि पैसा नहीं है ना? So there are 7 ways to get rich. The first one is inherited. To be born with a silver spoon. सिल्वर स्पून के साथ कहीं से बॉर्न हो जाए, अच्छा अंबानी के घर में पैदा हो जाए, टाटा के घर में पैदा हो जाए, बिरला के घर में पैदा हो जाए, like don't need to do anything, you just inherit the wealth. But the bad thing about this is that this is not in our control. It is not in our control. What is the second way? The second way is to marry it. So you can probably, you're not born in an Ambani family, but probably you can have an affair with Isha Ambani or something like, right? So probably you can lay your eyes on some people who are like richer than you, and you can probably marry them. For that, you need to have some qualities, first of all. And the second thing is that it's very, very difficult. There are like minuscule chances. I would say 0.1% chances. Why is it so? Because everyone is looking forward, right? So
Even
Ambanis are looking to hire.
no, yeah, no, I was just saying, Kamal sir, even Bollywood have stopped making movies on that, where poor guy is able to marry a rich girl.
Yeah, you're right. So great example. So because they understand that this is not the reality anymore, right? So everyone is looking forward. So Ambanis are looking to marry Piramals, Birlas are looking to marry Tatas and whatever, right? So everyone is looking forward. Everyone wants to climb up the stairs, not climb down the stairs, right? And third thing is invest for it. So there are people who are filthy rich. So they just invest in real estate, in this, that, even Bitcoins, cryptos, whatever. They have enough money. So they'll just invest, they'll forget about it, and the dividend keeps on coming, and they are enjoying the lives. But there is a prerequisite to it, right? What is the prerequisite? That you need to have money first, then only can you invest. So if you say, I have also invested 50,000 rupees in shares, that's not investment, right? So every day you go to the terminal and check, bada ki nahi bada, niche to nahi aa gaya, and you're just scared to death, right? For your 50,000 rupees, that's not investment, my friend. Fourth one is getting lucky and winning a lottery. So that also is a possibility. And you might think that it's a great achievement, great luck to win a lottery. But if you study the reports, if you go by the studies that are being conducted, it's not the case. In fact, there is a study which says that 95% of the people who get lump sum amounts from somewhere, ikattha paisa kahin se milta hai. People, for example, people who are selling their lands, for example, people who win some lotteries. There are some people who get some random amount of money from some place or the other. 95% of those people, they are leading a similar life, or in most cases, a more miserable life than they were leading earlier. So it says 95% of the people either return to the same position or even lower positions within 5 years of winning that lottery or something. And if you why to go anywhere else, you go and you just check the records and you see what the Kaun Banega Crorepati winners, the people who won 1 crore rupees and above in KBC, what are they doing now? And you'll see. So I saw this particular contestant. I don't remember if it was Sanjay or something. And he said that the day he won 5 crore rupees at KBC. He said the day I won that KBC 5 crore rupees was the worst day of my life. Because if you do not have the right value system, if you do not have the capacity to handle money, it will bring evil with itself. And he got into drugs and whatever, and he's just surviving, right? Somehow. And this is what happens. You look across. There are land losers, jo zameenein bechte hain apni. They get lump sum amount. And most of the times they do not have the right value system. So they spend on cars, they spend on houses, they'll make luxury houses, and then they cannot even maintain it. They cannot maintain their vehicles, right? So winning a lottery is good, but only if you can sustain that. It is difficult. Earning money is relatively easy, but handling money is quite difficult, right? I can tell you from my experience. Another very viable option, and for me, which like most of us are getting prepared for, is working our skin out for a high paying job. And that is what we dream of while growing up. That is what our education system, it like prepares us for. And it is very ironical. And I do not like the fact that our education system, even in spite of being a part of it, I get pained at what we are creating out of students. We were always taught to study hard, to get good grades, so that we can get a safe, secure job. I topped in my 10th exams, and all the teachers were like, hey, he's IIT material, he's IIM material, he's this, he's that. No one talked about entrepreneurship. And I can tell you, there were people in my class and who belonged to business backgrounds. They barely passed, बड़ी मुश्किल से पास हुए. और मैं उनको देख के मुझे दया आती थी. मैं बोलता था यार ये क्या करेंगे अपनी लाइफ? What would they do in their lives? They lead a miserable life, I thought at that point of time. आज मैं देखता हूँ लग्जरी गाड़ियों में घूमते हैं. They have their big projects, बड़े-बड़े उन्होंने रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट्स बना दिए हैं, कुछ कर दिया है. They are leading a tremendous life. Every day they are posting, almost every day. So every other day I'll find them. So today I'm in Japan, I'm Bulgaria, I'm there, I'm in Phuket, enjoying life like anything. And we were kept like busy, right? So money is different, life is different, the philosophy of life is different. And we have to self-reflect. Where are we headed towards? Kahan ja rahe hum? I've seen people who will make a machine out of themselves. And they'll keep on working very hard. I want to be a GM. I want to be an area sales manager. I want a promotion. I want to outclass everyone. And they'll keep on doing stuff. And at the age of 50, they suffer a heart attack. And after that, they're not able to work anymore. And then they realize what they've done. No time for their families, no emotion with their kids. उनके बच्चे भी उनको कोई बहुत ज्यादा इमोशनल कनेक्शन नहीं होता. बोलते हैं कभी टाइम तो हमारे को दिया नहीं. They are more emotionally connected to the mates. I've seen people like that, right? So I'm not against the jobs, but you have to understand what it takes away from you, or you are doing a job which you love. I can tell you that not even 1% people would be loving their jobs, right? I can tell you that not even 1% people would be loving their bosses, right? I'm an exception. I love my boss, right? Okay. Because this is being recorded, so I have to say that. Okay. Okay. So there's a joke around it, right? So the guy went to a hospital and he was to donate blood. और जब वो अपना खून दे रहा था, doctor said, your wife also came and she had this blood group, and your boss came after that. He had same blood group, and the coincidence is that you also have the same blood group. All three of you have the same blood group. And the guy said, it has to be same. क्योंकि दोनों मेरा ही खून पी रहे हैं. So nothing against the bosses or the job, right? But this is just jokes apart, right? Job means just obey your boss. That is the full form of job. And again, there is another full form which says just over broke. बस broke होने से थोड़ा सा ऊपर, मतलब दाल रोटी चल रही है अपनी, है ना? कंगाल नहीं है, पर कंगाली से थोड़ा सा ऊपर है. You ask any employee who is like a normal employee, not the people who are like the 1% employees who are in the top brass, but generally you ask a person about his bank balance, you'll understand, right? So we never used to ask for money from parents after 28th, because we knew that the financials would be tight and we would not get any money, right? Because we knew that father probably would have exhausted all the money, right? So that is about the job. Now, sixth thing is break the law. We can steal, we can deal, we can con, कुछ ना कुछ गलत उल्टा सीधा कर सकते हैं. अपने कहीं ना कहीं से कोई ATM उखाड़ के लेके आ सकते हैं, right? So when I was a small kid, I used to fantasize that. मुझे लगता था यार कभी ऐसा हो जाए, कभी बैंक में, and everyone goes through that phase. Everyone thinks यार, everyone wants money, and people are looking for easy ways to get money, and that's why the crypto scams, all the scams are there, because people are looking for easy money. Easy money is not there, my friend. And even if there is easy money, it is at the cost of others, which would reflect a bad karmful to you, right? So make sure that whatever you earn is through the righteous means, okay? And final is, if we can become an entrepreneur, which is working for ourselves. And the best way to become wealthy, honestly, ethically, legally, morally, is of course being an entrepreneur. And we'll talk more about it. And I told you that I was just joking around with Rohit that if I get too carried away, so just hold me back. So we've just finished first slide, second slide, actually the introduction slide I conducted a little later. The first slide हमने entrepreneurship की किया. We are done with 40 minutes. So we'll just quickly round it up, and probably we'll have a second addition to this, because there is a very important concept. There is a concept which actually turned me towards entrepreneurship, and I would dearly like to explain it to you sometime, right? But moving on, we have understood that it's good to be an entrepreneur, but it takes courage to be an entrepreneur. And not many people, everyone, there's again a study which says that 95% of the people, they want to become an entrepreneur at some point of time in their lives. वो चाहते हैं कि कभी ना कभी हम entrepreneur बने. But not even 5% take the first steps. Not even 5%. And less than 1% actually go on to become an entrepreneur. Whether they fail or they succeed is another story altogether. But 5% bhi nahi. Out of 95%, what happens? Life goes on. They are stuck in the responsibilities. They are waiting for the life to settle. बोलते हैं यार जब ये settle हो जाएगा फिर करेंगे. फिर बोलते हैं जब यार बेटा 10th कर लेगा तब करेंगे. फिर वो बोलते हैं यार जब बेटे की जॉब लग जाएगी फिर करेंगे. फिर वो बोलते हैं यार बेटे की शादी हो जाएगी तब करेंगे. फिर बोलते हैं मैं रिटायर हो जाऊंगा उसके बाद करेंगे. फिर वो रिटायर होने के बाद बोलते हैं यार अब तो रिटायर हो गया यार अब क्या करना है, हम बेटे ही करेंगे जो करेंगे, हम तो ठीक है अपने मजे प्रभु की घूम रहा हूँ, है ना. So this is the story of everyone. This is how the life progresses. And life, as you move along in life, जैसे जैसे आप बड़े होते हो, जैसे जैसे you get on the higher side of the age, time starts flying away. मेरे को पता भी नहीं चलता है. When I turned 40, I used to realize. So हम जब थोड़े से ऐसा हमें लगता था कि यार थोड़े यंग थे, तो कोई 40 वाला बंदा होता था, हमें लगता था बूढ़ा है, मतलब his days are numbered. हमको लगता था 40 हो गया तो बूढ़ा हो गया बंदा. 40 से क्रॉस हो गए तो लगता था यार अभी तो हमने स्टार्ट भी नहीं किया है लाइफ को, राइट. आई एम इन माय मिड 40s नाउ. Still feel that I have not even started. I have not even like done an iota of what I want to achieve in my life, right? So life will go on in a click, and whatever decisions we have to take instantly, and we have to get started. We do not have to wait for life to get settled. There's a famous saying, it says life never settles. When it settles, it is called death, right? So what we are doing is we are waiting for our death, right? So the best time to start anything is now. The best time to start a new venture is when everything is going well. हम क्या करते हैं? Most of the people will venture into something else when things are not going well. That is not the right time to go for it, because you would be under emotional pressure, you would be under psychological pressure, you would be under financial pressures, family pressures, this and that. जब सब कुछ ठीक चल रहा होता है तब start करो कुछ नहीं, right? While you are a student, start something. We have had multiple examples of students who are doing great in entrepreneurship. Now the question arises, what it takes to be an entrepreneur. What it takes to be an entrepreneur. And just because of the paucity of time, so we'll move quickly. So you might have multiple notions about it. You might think that, okay जी, अगर मैं पूछता chat में कि क्या करो, तो हो सकता है आप में से कुछ बोलते कि पैसा चाहिए, you need educational background, you need this, you need money, you need business family, you need traditional setup, आपको थोड़ी सी business की knowledge चाहिए, आपको mentors चाहिए, this, that, whatever, right? But I can tell you, you don't need any of these, right? I have been a multiple times entrepreneur and I know it, right? I never had a business background. I never had any financials. मेरे पास पैसा नहीं था, मेरे पास कोई business background नहीं था, हमारे पास कोई know how नहीं थी, हमारे पास कोई mentor नहीं था. Business में mentors मिलते नहीं है because no one wants to create a competitor, right? नहीं मिलते हैं. And we were deficient in everything, but we created at least twice. We created great businesses. It was only because of our rift in the partnership that those business, unfortunately, we had to wind those up. But otherwise, they were phenomenal business. right? At the age of 25, 26, we were earning a 6-figure income, and 2005, right? So what it takes, the prerequisites are passion to succeed. And probably when we come for the second time, when we'll meet, so I would request Rohit to have a part 2 of this, right? So, and Ayushi also. So the first thing is passion to succeed. What is passion? How is it different from other things? So we'll have a discussion on that, right? So we'll definitely, first thing required is passion towards whatever you are doing. Are we passionate towards our jobs? You ask the jobbers, you ask the employees, with all due respect, and you'll get the answer. They're just biting their time. तुम पूछ लेना उनसे कैसा चल रहा है, जॉब कैसा चला, ओ यार धक्का दे रहे, कर रहे हैं, चल रहा है. Very few, 1%, 2% would say that I am doing great in my job, and they are the people who are really passionate about something that they are doing. So we need to be passionate towards success, towards money, towards the work that we are doing. And until unless we are passionate about what we are doing, probably we are not in the right profession. And probably that's why I changed my profession 8 times. You look at Sachin Tendulkar, you look at Virat Kohli, you look at any other example in the world, Vishwanathan Anand, the sports people, the painters, the singers. So they are earning money from their passion and they're not working. Neha Kakkar गाना गा रही है, तो क्या उसको, मतलब, is it a lot of work? She is enjoying it. Virat Kohli field पे होता है, that is when he is Virat Kohli. That is his existence. And he is getting paid for it. And हम बोलते हैं यार देखो क्रिकेट खेलने का पैसा मिल रहा है, हमारे को मिल जाता तो आपको नहीं मिलेगा. You've not spent 16 hours. जब विराट कोहली वर्कआउट कर रहा था जिम में, तो आप छोले भटूरे खा रहे थे, आपको नहीं मिल सकता है, right? You have to have that clarity in your mind. So the first thing is passion to succeed. Second thing, hunger to earn. Money is good. Money is good. You might think that money will bring in evil. It will not. You have to have a value system. Values के पीछे भागो. Go for integrity, honesty, and money will follow. हम जनरली हम ये बोलते हैं कि अगर आप सरस्वती के पीछे जाओगे तो आप लक्ष्मी अपने आप आती है, और अगर आप सिर्फ लक्ष्मी के पीछे जाओगे तो सरस्वती आएगी या नहीं आएगी गारंटी नहीं है, पर अगर आप सरस्वती की तरफ जाओगे तो लक्ष्मी आएगी गारंटी है, right? So a right value system if you have, then think about earning money. If you have money and you have right value system, it's a huge combination. You can do this world a lot of favor. आप difference create कर सकते हो इस दुनिया में, right? That is capacity to work. Of course, it takes a lot of hard work. Bill Gates was once asked कि क्या चीजें हैं जिसने उसको successful बनाया है. Bill Gates said there were 3 things. He said, first, I was at the right place at the right time. He said, second, I knew I was at the right place at the right time. So first thing is, he said, when this IT boom came, everyone was talking about hardware, software, IT, this, that. He said, I was there. I started with a venture. And there were thousands of people who started with IT related ventures back then in 80s. But they lacked the second thing. What was the second thing? He said, I knew that I was at the right place at the right time. मुझे पता भी था, and I believed in that. And there were others. जो थोड़ा सा उसमें फिर बबल में लोगों ने बोला IT बबल बस्ट हो गया, ये हो गया, सो गया. People left. छोड़ दिया लोगों ने, चले गए. But he believed. He stuck. Michael Dell stuck. Steve Jobs stuck. And likewise, so Bill Gates stuck. He made it big. He said, I knew I was at the right place at the right time. But what is the third thing, which is the key differentiator? He said, I took massive action. I took massive action. Facebook was not the first social networking website. Google was not the first search engine. But they have a monopoly now. Why do they have a monopoly? Because they took massive action. Massive action. They did not take the foot off the accelerator. उन्होंने एक्सेलरेटर से पैर ही नहीं हटाया. वो तब तक चलते रहे जब तक वो पूरी दुनिया पे नहीं छा गए. It takes work. You might have heard the notion कि यार smart work करो, hard work मत करो. No, my friend. Smart work comes later. Hard work comes first. Even if you have to work smart, still you have to work hard, right? You have to outwork everyone in your near vicinity. That's how you reach the pinnacles of success. And your definitions of success could be different, mine could be different, everyone's success definition is different, but it cannot be achieved without putting in your massive efforts, right? And the final is willingness to learn, being teachable, not being judgmental. Whom we can learn from? किससे सीख सकते हैं? Everyone has a lesson to teach us. हर एक आदमी से. We have to shed our egos. हमें अपने egos बाहर छोड़नी पड़ेंगी. We have to become a good listener. I can share an example with you. हम गुरु सीरीज करते हैं, just like the webinar series that we are conducting here. हम एक गुरु सीरीज करते हैं. गुरु सीरीज के अंदर we had a singer, Jasbir Jassi, and most of you would have heard his song Dil Legi Kudi Gujarati, right? And it used to be a very peppy number. हर एक डीजे पे बजता था हमारे टाइम में जब हम डांस करते थे कभी, है ना? अभी भी कर लेते हैं कभी-कभी, right? So he came and he was absolutely against one person. And I'll not probably will name him. So he was absolutely against Honey Singh. So if you're young, he might be your like superstar, Honey Singh. I don't like him personally, right? Because he's the one who is glorifying drugs. His no song is without drugs, without intoxicants. ये कर देंगे, गोलियां चला देंगे, दारू पी लेंगे. This is all that he talks about, right? That is all that he knows. And he was into like turmoils and पता नहीं कैसे कैसे वो वापिस आया है. He's back after like a gap of 4-5 years, because whatever you speak, that is what you become, right? And he might have become famous, but he just barely survived. And I do not know how would he lead his life. आगे कैसे चलेगा? I am not too sure. But that is the value system we were talking about, right? He got fame, name, money, too much too soon, right? Without value system, then you become a Honey Singh, right? Then you become Mike Tyson, right? Then you become Lance Armstrong. Great people, great personalities, great talent, but no value system. No one remembers them, right? Whenever people talk about them, probably they have a negative notion about them. Mike Tyson has come a long way, and he has regained some of his character because of the things that he says now, right? But that Jasbir Jassi, he said, I do not like that. He said that he's a folk musician from Punjab, and he knows the roots of Punjab. Jasbir Jassi said, now where are we going as a Punjabi song industry? I do not know, with people like Honey Singh. But then the second word he said, and it actually hit me very hard. He said, but one thing is for sure, वो जो beats है हनी सिंह की, मतलब वो बहुत अच्छा म्यूजिशियन बन सकता है अगर वो अच्छे लिरिक्स और अच्छी तरफ को चले. उसके beats, they are like no one can beat them. He has such a strong sense of music. उसकी इतनी जबरदस्त beats होती हैं, लोग वैसे खुद ही उनके पैर मतलब थिरकना शुरू कर देते हैं. And I was thinking to myself, look at this guy. He has extreme hatred for one person, but still he's like managed to learn something from him. क्या हम ऐसा कर सकते हैं? The people whom we do not like, or we for some reason or the other we dislike a person, can we learn something from those guys also? That is what makes an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs learns from everyone. They learn the lessons, and because they learn the lessons, that's why they are able to deliver it, right? So these are the prerequisites. We are not mentioning any money. पैसा नहीं चाहिए, business background नहीं चाहिए, कुछ नहीं चाहिए. You need passion, you need hunger, you need capacity to work, your work ethics, and you need teachability. These are the prerequisites. If you have these prerequisites, everything can be managed. Everything else doesn't matter. It is said, if the dream is big enough, facts don't count. What is the background? Where are you from? What is the educational background? Doesn't matter. If you want to do something and you're really into it, you'll succeed at it, right? So probably if you have a second session for this, I'll take you through a very, very interesting concept, and that is the concept which actually turned me around towards entrepreneurship. ये वो concept है जिसने मुझे entrepreneur बनाया. right? And it has developed so many entrepreneurs. And it is, most of you might have heard of a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about something called cash flow quadrant, and we'll talk about it. And if you can understand that, or if I can like lay it down for you and you break it and you understand that, it is something that will probably either you'll get into entrepreneurship or you'll move out of it, right? So it is black or white, right? If even after understanding cash flow quadrant, you think that entrepreneurship is not for you, it is not for you. So for those of you who are here listening to my talk, uh, if you find it interesting and if you really want to own your life, so sometime else, like probably 2 or 3 weeks later, so we shall have a talk. This cash flow quadrant, I'll take you through this, right? And for today, I'm done. Thank you very much, guys. I really enjoyed talking to you. I always enjoy talking to wannabe entrepreneurs, right? And I'm glad that you're here and you're listening. So I'm sure that even if I can turn a single person's mind towards owning his life, because you'll not change your life, you'll change the life of your generations, right? That is what entrepreneurs do. So I'm just stopping the screen share here and back to Rohit.
Okay. Firstly, thanks a lot, Dr. Kamal Kant Vashisth, sir. It was very insightful. Plus, talking about the another session, definitely we would want you to continue. It was very, very interesting. So we would want you to, we will look forward for how to arrange that and when to make that happen. Probably not, if not next week, probably next to next week. All the
Yes,
attendees.
because
Yeah.
next 2-3 weeks.
We'll try to get you back on the on the webinar, and we can continue from the point we left it today itself.
Sure, sure.
Okay, all right. So going ahead, first of all, I'm sure it was very, very insightful for many of the attendees who were there today itself. Before Kamal sir, Dr. Kamal, meanwhile, Dr. Kamal is going to be here for with us. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and type your questions or on Q&A, or you can also chat on chat itself, so that Dr. Vashisth can answer those and you guys can have a better understanding about how things means how to develop, how to spark that spark the entrepreneurial ideas inside yourself. So if you guys don't have any questions, we got one question here itself. Okay, so there is an anonymous attendee, and they're asking, what do you want to say about the gig economy, freelancers? Is it a similar to entrepreneurship?
Great question. Yes. So it is a great question. And so about being a freelancer or the gig economy that we talk about, right? It's something which is very flexible. We connect and we just, it's sort of like owning your own life. There are people who, I've seen people who are vloggers, and they keep on moving from one place to another. They are having the reviews. Someone is having a blog, someone is having a YouTube channel or things like that. It's absolutely, it's entrepreneurship. Absolutely, it's entrepreneurship, right? And it takes all of these. Without passion, you cannot be a freelancer, right? So I've had a freelancing career as well. So I used to write for some website as a freelancer. I earned some good money out of that. And it's an absolute, in today's scenario, it's an absolute great career option. Because again, you talk about like food vloggers, and they absolutely love the street food. Who would not like to just review the street food and earn from that? किसको नहीं अच्छा लगेगा, जा रहे हैं कहीं, इसका गोलगप्पा खाओ, इसका डोसा खाओ, इसका ये खाओ, है ना? मतलब they're enjoying their life. The only point is, right? So whoever anonymous attendee, right? I would encourage you to come up with your names, right? You are asking such a great question. So the thing is that it's all about owning your life. Entrepreneurship means taking control of your life. If you can take control of your life, if you can be doing. Other day I was listening to a Tony Robbins audio program, and Tony Robbins said very clearly, he's very clear in his approach. He says that if you're not doing for your living, for your as a profession, if you're not doing something that you're really passionate about, that really kindles some joy in you whenever you start, whenever you wake up in the morning and you say that, yeah, today is the day, I'm going to do something for something that I'm passionate about. I'm sure that you'll relate to it, that Sachin Tendulkar, whenever he would wake up, so he'll look forward to the day whenever there's a cricket match. वो देखता है यार कि आज और मजा करेंगे, आज और अच्छा करेंगे. They're looking forward to it. So if it is freelancing that kindles that spark in you, 100% it is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is all about flexibility. It's all about taking control of your life. So I see a question in the chat. So Gangadhar ji, please talk about Direct Selling Act. So probably sometime else. And I again, so on this question, so I can again say that direct selling again is a way to become an entrepreneur, and it's a great way. It's a phenomenal way. I sincerely believe that direct selling is one way, which is perhaps the only inclusive entrepreneurship model. It is the only realistic inclusive entrepreneurship model, and wherein each and every one of us can become an entrepreneur. So we'll have a session on direct selling sometime, right? Do we need technology knowledge for direct selling? Yes and no, Raghavji. We need technological knowledge. Nothing is like beyond technology now. Nothing can be achieved without technology now. But if you're talking technology in terms of getting leads and this and that, Facebook, LinkedIn, this bombarding, so you don't need it, right? So I have a different mindset. I do not believe that we need to have huge leads through social media. If we talk about real direct selling, you just need to maintain, probably if you want to succeed, if you want to get into a 6-figure income, probably 3 or 4 of your networks would do that. And you don't need much of this social media, digital marketing, this and that for that, right? If you are trying to set up an industry, of course, but direct selling is a very, very different phenomenon altogether. It's primarily based on relationship that you build. And if you're just conversing through digital platforms, so that relationship is a little difficult to initiate as well as to sustain, right? So technology चाहिए भी है किसी चीजों में, और लेकिन जितना हाइप इसका क्रिएट कर गया है उतना नहीं चाहिए, है ना?
All right. We've got another questions in Q&A, and again, it is anonymous attendee. What do you want to say to those who want to start some businesses but are afraid to lose?
Okay, so very interesting question.
Sir has been talking about it. He's lost it 3 times, right?
So it says, there is a common saying. It says you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. You miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. So if you start something, if you initiate something, you might lose. But if you do not initiate anything, you're already lost, right? So you'll always gain. Just a little bit of calculated decisions. You also have to, I'm not saying that you blindfoldedly take some risk, कि कहीं भी कुछ भी invest कर दो, ऐसा नहीं होता है. With the right proper understanding, थोड़ा सा research करो, take time to research, don't take hasty decisions. But if you take a rational decision based on some facts and figures and a predictable progression path, predictable success rate, the chances of failure is very, very minuscule. And even if you fail, you'll gain huge from it, right? मैं जो भी कुछ बताता हूँ, जो मैं भी कुछ, जितना भी मैं यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ाता हूँ, जितना भी कुछ मैं कहीं और भी कहीं भी लेक्चर्स देता हूँ, कहीं पर भी people know me, people they call me for, so all these things I've learned from my failures, right? All these things I've learned the hard way, right? And there's nothing like failure. मुझे तो लगता नहीं है, मुझे लोग बोलते हैं कि हो सकता है आप फेल हुए, मुझे तो नहीं लगता है कभी भी, ना? I'm very happy the way things have been in my life, and I am very grateful to God कि भगवान ने मुझे, and मैं आपको एक और बात बता देता हूँ कि जब भगवान ने किसी को थोड़ा सा बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी देनी होती है, so he tests him like multiple times, and it is not only in life, you see it any phase of life, चाहे आप स्पोर्ट्स में देखो, किसी भी चीज में देखो, आप पॉलिटिक्स में देख लो, तो अगर किसी को कोई बड़ा मंत्रालय देना है तो पहले उसको छोटे छोटे मंत्रालयों में टेस्ट करते हैं लोग, है ना, एंड ओनली when people think that he can handle those, तब उसे बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मिलती है. So likewise, even if you fail, God is testing you and he is preparing you for something bigger in life, right? So that is my advice to you.
Great. So anonymous attendee, you guys, you have to take a step. If you don't, obviously you're losing it anyway. So I believe with that we'll be concluding. We are over time now. Thanks a lot once again, Dr. Kamal Kant Vashisth sir. Thanks to my panel. And thanks to all the attendees who joined today and got insightful about developing mindset of an entrepreneur. We will be continuing this session probably in a week or so. And definitely my counselors, our team will get back to you and will let you know when are we hosting the second part of this particular webinar. Meanwhile, all the people who have doubts regarding the program that we have it, please reach out to our counselors and we will be trying to help and solve all the queries that you guys have. So once again, thank you everyone. Thank you, Dr. Vashisth. With that, we'll take a due and we'll close down the session. Thank you.